AU has also proposed its own mechanism. Is that something that you think is going to work?
I've told you that all these are a result of AU failure itself. You know, it cannot. And which solutions are they proposing? To send Museveni to become the mediator? You know, somebody who has just rigged an election. Even the report of the African Union,
yes,
which is sending Museveni to mediate in an area of political conflict, the report of the African Union observers in the Ugandan election said the election was not free or fair.
Right.
So I mean, how do you get? You know, the African Union is completely, I think, confused and compromised. It cannot act in the interests of the African people, as far as I can see. Because, and one of the things, in fact, we are going to do is to put it to task with their own report to demand that they do not allow somebody masquerading from Uganda as our leader to go and occupy our seat in the African Union. So the African Union will not provide a solution as it is today. I think there needs to be some other mechanisms.
Let's talk about Uganda. Do you think this kind of uprisings as a solution? You've called for uprisings in the past. Nobody has responded.
Well, that is, you see, there is complete misunderstanding about resistance to dictators. First of all, some people even don't understand really the struggle we are in today. Some people think that even these elections are about, you know, what kind of UPE, what kind of health services. No. The struggle in Uganda is a struggle for freedoms, not a struggle for policies, which policies are good. It's a struggle for freedom. It's a basic struggle for liberation. Because we have been under domination of guns for 4 decades. In fact, from colonialism. And unless we have a transition from military dictatorship to a democracy, you know, the problem is with us, is on our hands. Now, that struggle from military rule to civilian democratic rule is not a struggle that will end in one day. It's not a struggle that will end through one action, whether an election, whether a protest of tomorrow, whether it's a long struggle, and Ugandans who are listening to me should hear this. It's a long struggle, one you cannot avoid. It's about your freedom. It's about your rights. It's about your resources. It's one you cannot run away from. This struggle must be carried out by yourselves. No other person will carry it out. It's not a struggle of Besigye. It's not a struggle of Olara Otuno. It's not a struggle of Mr. Ruvega. It's not a struggle of people who say, let's struggle. It's the struggle of the people of Uganda to be free, to be governed decently, their rights to be respected, their voice to be heard in a free and fair election. It's the struggle of the people of Uganda. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm happy with the way that struggle is developing. The people of Uganda every day get empowered to resist dictatorship. And that is the basis of solving this problem. I've been talking about the changes I have seen over the last 5 years of Ugandans standing up and saying, no, this was not there a couple of years back. People could not even contemplate it. But you've seen people here in Kampala say, no, you will not take our markets. Get your hands off our markets. And they have kept them. That is the reason Lukwago was overwhelmingly elected here, because he supported the people's struggle. That struggle is the struggle for their rights. It's not delinked from the struggle we are talking about, the struggle for democracy. It is the same struggle. The people who closed the roads in Karera and said, we are fed up with the dust here. Until you make this road, we have closed it, and there was a battle there. That is a struggle for democracy.
Right.
These struggles have been going on. They are going on. They are going to intensify. Take it from me. Those struggles are going to intensify until our country will be free, until the people of Uganda will be free, until they can enjoy the fruits of their labor, not work hard and their money be eaten by a clique of people in government. That will change. This election may not have changed it, but that struggle is on. It's not going to go back.
Well, let's talk before we go further. We will be able to talk about what you just mentioned. But before we do that, you spoke about the domination of guns. You mentioned the military dictatorship. These are your own words. But you yourself are a soldier. There's no difference between you and Museveni anyway.
Not at all. First of all, I'm not a soldier. I was a freedom fighter, not a soldier. I've never enlisted.
You are a colonel, retired colonel.
Yes, but I have never enlisted. I've never been recruited. I've never gone to a recruitment.
How do you get the title of a colonel?
Yeah, this is what I'm telling you, that I got it simply because of struggling for my freedom. I joined the struggle. I was not recruited to join an army. Never. I've never been recruited to join an army. In fact, when we came from the bush, nobody even asked us whether we wanted to stay or leave. If they had asked me, most likely I would have opted to leave. Our struggle was a struggle for freedom.
Yes.
I have never been a professional soldier recruited to do the defense of the country.
Well, Museveni could say the same thing. He's not been recruited in any regular army.
In fact, Museveni is indeed that. He masquerades actually as a soldier, whereas not. Because at least me, I have done formal military training.
So you're more of a soldier than he is.
He has not. So, but the important thing I'm talking about is military rule has no place, and we did not expect military rule from 1986. We expected that there would be a transition of 4 years.
Yes.
And if that 4 years was not considered enough, maybe it could have been extended. That is another debate. But we expect that there would be a transition to complete civilian rule where the military would be totally subordinate to civilian authority. That was the intention of the struggle, which was, of course, subverted. And the would-be liberators turned into the present-day terrible dictators.
Let's talk about the Arab-style demonstrations. Do you think they can work? The government says they are totally...
There is nothing Arab-style about them. I've told you that here in your neighborhood, in Madagascar, there were these kind of people power, people rising up and taking power.
Right.
It is simply a natural phenomenon of people who are oppressed reaching a point and saying, no, we shall not take this anymore. And, people who think that it will not come here must be burying their heads in the sand. You cannot steal the resources of the people of Uganda, as has been done, plundering, as has been done with impunity, all these monies, even those which have been investigated and nothing has happened. Money of the people of Uganda who are sleeping today without food, who are sleeping without shelter, who cannot, afford to get medical care, whose children cannot get decent life and education. That situation is boiling. It's boiling. Some of these thieves may be in town here, enjoying themselves and putting up skyscrapers. But that situation is not sustainable at all. At all. President Museveni is deceiving himself to think that he will bribe the people of Uganda permanently. He could pay money in the elections, the billions that are now causing the same people he paid a lot of trouble because of the inflation. You can pay them.
Well, some of us never got it.
Yes, you can pay the people in. Of course, I don't believe that everybody got it, but as you know, it was very available. If you had been interested, even now, if you are interested,
no,
I'm sure you'll get it. Not only politicians got it, but the point I'm saying is, bribe, rent support permanently. It's not possible. You know, he's calling these youth, promising them that, calling these church leaders, giving them that, calling these ones, giving them that. That is not about government. Government is supposed to provide common goods for everybody, not bribes. And if you think that you are going to sustain power by bribing people and bringing members at every roundabout so that people may fear, it's a joke. It's a joke. They will be thrown overboard, all these things. The primary contradiction is that marginalization of the people by a few, who control the sources of power. And that is what is not sustainable.
Well, this is Spectrum on Radio 1. 1 month after the election, we're hosting Dr. Kizza, the first loser in the election, the first runner-up in that election. 8 candidates we had. We are going for a break. We'll be back. Do stay with us.
Smooth. I'd like to think so. Rich? One day. Black? Obviously. Bitter? Never. Castle Milk Stout.